Midnight Drearies.
Chapter 1: The Obsession. My name is Jake, and I've been a fan of anime for as long as I can remember. It started innocently enough, with a few shows that I watched with my friends after school. But soon, I found myself staying up all night, binge-watching entire seasons in one sitting. At first, it was just a fun way to escape from the stresses of school and life in general. But as time went on, I began to realize that my obsession with anime was starting to take over my life. I stopped going out with friends, stopped going to class, and stopped caring about anything except for the next episode of my favorite show. My grades started to slip, and my parents were constantly worried about me. But I couldn't stop myself. I needed my anime fix, no matter what the cost. Chapter 2: The Health Consequences. It wasn't long before the consequences of my addiction started to catch up with me. I was constantly tired, constantly sick, and constantly in pain. But I couldn't stop watching anime. It was like a drug that I couldn't quit, no matter how hard I tried. And then, one day, I collapsed. I woke up in the hospital, surrounded by doctors and nurses, with no idea how I had gotten there. They told me that I had suffered a heart attack, and that it was likely due to the stress and lack of sleep caused by my anime addiction. I was terrified. I had never realized how much damage I was doing to myself, both physically and mentally. But even as I lay there, hooked up to machines and monitors, I couldn't stop thinking about my favorite anime shows. I needed my fix, even if it was killing me. Chapter 3: The Descent into Madness. After my heart attack, things only got worse. I became more isolated than ever, spending all my time locked in my room, watching anime shows and movies. I stopped going outside, stopped showering, and stopped taking care of myself in any way. My parents tried to help, but I refused to listen. I was convinced that my anime addiction was the only thing keeping me from going completely insane. And then, one day, I started to see things. At first, it was just small things, like shadows moving in the corner of my eye. But soon, it escalated to full-blown hallucinations, anime characters appearing before me, talking to me, and urging me to watch more shows. I knew it wasn't real, but I couldn't stop myself from believing. The line between reality and fantasy started to blur, until I could no longer tell the difference. I was lost in my own mind, trapped in a world of anime and madness. Nezuko Kamado from Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, is my one true love. What we have, Nezuko and I, no one can understand. Chapter 4: The Breaking Point. It wasn't until I started to harm myself that I realized how far I had truly fallen. I had always been a bit of a cutter, but now it had escalated to something much more dangerous. I was carving anime characters into my skin, using anything I could find as a makeshift blade. My parents found out, and they were horrified. They tried to get me help, but it was too late. I was too far gone. Even as I lay in the hospital, my arms bandaged and my mind clouded with medication, I couldn't stop thinking about my anime shows. I knew I was killing myself, both physically and mentally. But I couldn't stop. The addiction was too strong, too powerful. And then, one day, I simply stopped breathing. The doctors tried to resuscitate me, but it was too late. Is there a moral to this tale? No. We're just fucking with ya. We love anime. Watch as much of it as you want.